In the year 335 BC, 2,350 years ago, Aristotle published Peri Poetices on poetry, now known by its modern title, Poetics. Quote, "The work of the poet doesn't concern relaying what has happened, but instead consists in communicating what might happen and what is possible according to likelihood or necessity. Accordingly, the historian and the poet differ from one another, not because one composes in meter and one doesn't. For if the work of Herodotus were set in verse, it would be no less some kind of history with meter than without it. The poet and historian differ in this. One communicates events that have actually happened, and the other relays those kind of events that might happen. Because of this, poetry is more philosophical and serious than history. For poetry speaks of what is universal, history of what is particular. The difference is not the form, meter versus prose, but the subject matter, possibility versus fact." "2025 is the 100-year anniversary of American poet Robinson Jeffers' poem Shine, Perishing Republic. It describes an increasingly corrupt American empire which it advises readers to view through the naturalizing perspective of social cycles. Before we read the poem directly, we'll briefly, poetically, examine the man who wrote it. John Robinson Jeffers was born on January 10, 1887 in Allegheny, Pennsylvania, now a part of Pittsburgh, the son of Reverend Dr. William Hamilton Jeffers, a Presbyterian minister and scholar of ancient languages and biblical history. His brother was Hamilton Jeffers, a well-known astronomer who worked at Lick Observatory. Jeffers traveled through Europe during his youth and attended school in Germany, France, and Switzerland. An outstanding student, he was instructed in the classics in Greek and Latin language and literature. By age 12, he was fluent in German and French as well as English. He earned his bachelor's degree from Occidental College in Los Angeles at age 18, the age most people are just beginning. In the 1920s and 1930s, at the height of his popularity, Jeffers was famous for being a tough outdoorsman, living in relative solitude and writing of the difficulty and beauty of the wild. He spent most of his life in Carmel, California, in a granite house that he built with his own hands. He later built a large 4-story stone tower on the site called Hawk Tower, named after a hawk that appeared while Jefferson was working on the structure and which disappeared the day it was completed. The tower was a gift for his wife, Una, who had a fascination for Irish literature and stone towers. His intense relationship with the physical world is described in often brutal and apocalyptic verse, which shows a preference for the natural world over what he sees as the deleterious influence of civilization. Jeffers coined the word inhumanism, the belief that humankind is too self-centered and indifferent to the astonishing beauty of things. While this America settles in the mold of its vulgarity, heavily thickening to empire, and protest, only a bubble in the molten mass, pops and sighs out and the mass hardens, I sadly smiling remember that the flower fades to make fruit, the fruit rots to make earth, out of the mother, and through the spring exultances, ripeness and decadence, and home to the mother. You making haste, haste on decay. Not blameworthy, life is good, be it stubbornly long or suddenly, a mortal splendor. Meteors are not needed less than mountains. Shine, perishing republic. But for my children, I would have them keep their distance from the thickening center. Corruption never has been compulsory. When the cities lie at the monster's feet, there are left the mountains. And boys, be in nothing so moderate as in love of man, a clever servant, insufferable master. There is the trap that catches noblest spirits that caught, they say, God when he walked on earth. 100 years ago, 1925, sitting at elevation in Carmel Point, California, overlooking the Pacific Ocean, Jeffers sees the American people as molten metal slowly starting to solidify in a mold, the mold of vulgarity. He sees protest against this as but a bubble in the molten mass, a small pop that sighs out as the mass, meaning Americans, harden in this shape, vulgarity. He smiles and remembers with melancholy the organic cycle of growth as opposed to the inorganic metallurgical one, from spring to summer to fall to winter and back again. Those who choose to fight the decay serve only to accelerate it, and that's not their fault. Life as a natural concept is good, and meteors, shining stars, meaning great people, can be both a personal goal and an inspiration, and we need them, every bit as much as we need stability and consistency. But he advises his own sons, his own blood, stay away from the center of that thickening cold metal mass. Never care too much about humanity, which is awful, whether serving under you or ruling over you. Too much love for humanity is a trap, and this trap, he finishes, is the trap that catches noblest spirits that caught, they say, God when he walked on earth. Shine, perishing republic.